To celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Super Mario franchise, I'm doing retrospective videos of every main series Mario game. At this point, I have covered the original Super Mario Bros., both versions of Super Mario Bros. 2, and the legendary Super Mario Bros. 3. Some people may think that the next logical step after Super Mario Bros. 3 would be Super Mario World, but no, there was actually a main series Mario game that released in between Mario 3 and Mario World, and that game is Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. Released in 1989 as a launch title for the Game Boy, Super Mario Land is definitely an interesting piece of Mario history. There's just a lot of weird things about it. It's the first main series Super Mario title to be released for a handheld. The game was not developed by Shigeru Miyamoto. Instead, Gunpei Yokoi from Nintendo's research and development was the guiding producer for this game. Super Mario Land also takes place in Sarasa Land instead of the Mushroom Kingdom, and introduces Princess Daisy as the damsel in distress instead of Princess Peach. Yep, that's right, Daisy fans, you owe it to Mario Land for introducing this character. There's even a brand new villain in the form of Tatanga, an alien guy with hypnosis powers. This is also the shortest game in the franchise, with only 12 levels across 4 worlds. And this game also has a bunch of unusual enemies and environments compared to traditional titles. Because of all of these strange attributes of Super Mario Land, it almost feels like a spin-off, even though it technically isn't. As far as my personal history with Super Mario Land, yeah, there is none. I played this game once a long time ago because I was curious about it. I beat it and never looked back since. I didn't really have a reason to. But hey, since I'm doing a retrospective of all the main series Mario games, I have a reason to take a look at this game again. So, let's just go ahead and jump right into it, shall we? I'm a Mario Man 847, and this is my retrospective / review of Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. World 1-1. Welp, this is certainly a Mario game on an old handheld, alright. I mean, it's fine. The game looks decent enough and it controls well. This is pretty standard 2D Mario gameplay, with jumping on enemies and jumping under blocks to get power-ups and whatnot. The biggest new thing here is the Super Ball power-up. It's basically a fire flower, but the fireballs that you throw can bounce all around the screen. It's pretty cool because it lets you deal with enemies not just next to you, but above you and all around you as well. The Super Ball flower was completely absent from the Mario series for decades until they brought it back in Super Mario Maker 2, which is kind of a shame because I think it's a great power-up with lots of potential. But yeah, besides that, this first level is pretty basic. Since you're in Sarasa Land instead of the Mushroom Kingdom now, you do get some new enemies though. This is the only Mario game to have these enemies named Goombos. I mean, they're essentially the same thing as Goombas though. The fighter flies from the Mario Bros. Arcade game make a return in this game, which is pretty interesting. This is the only main series Mario game to have these guys. And then there's Bombshell Koopas. They are similar to Koopas except they explode a bit after you stomp on them. This is another enemy that has only appeared in Super Mario Land. Yeah, sorry. I know this video is kind of boring so far, but I have to talk about some of these minor details, otherwise this video is only going to be like 3 minutes long. Lol. At the end of each level you can play a bonus game to get more lives or a power up. That's pretty nice. World 1-2. World 1-2 has these bee enemies that drop spears on Mario. Sheesh, I do not want to imagine something like that happening in real life. Bees are scary enough even without spears, man. World 1-3. World 1-3 takes place inside of a pyramid, which is a pretty cool aesthetic for a Mario level. This level has these Sphinx lion dudes named Gao. They shoot fireballs at Mario. This is another enemy that only appears in Super Mario Land. A cool thing about Super Mario Land is that it does actually have checkpoints. Lost Levels also had checkpoints, but that game only had 1 checkpoint per level. Mario Land actually has multiple checkpoints per level, which is really great actually. World 1-3 has our first boss fight, King Totometsu. He functions essentially the same as Bowser from SMB1. He jumps and shoots fireballs. You just have to touch the switch behind him to defeat him. Not gonna lie, it's kinda lame to have this unique boss design only for him to function essentially the same as Bowser, but oh well. On to World 2. World 2-1. World 2-1 has these bone fish guys named Honen and these seahorse enemies named Yura and Boo who shoot fireballs at you. It's kind of weird how these guys have the name Boo in them when they share literally no similarities to Boos. These are more enemies that only appear in Mario Land. I'm trying to remind Nintendo of all the enemies that are not in Mario Kart World so they can add them. Kappa. World 2-2. This level introduces these little robot guys named Mechabon. They throw their head at Mario like a boomerang to attack him. His design kinda reminds me of Robot Jones actually. World 2-3. Whoa, now here's a unique level. It's an underwater auto-scroller, but Mario is inside of the submarine thing the whole time, and he shoots missiles out of it to defeat enemies. It's basically a shoot-'em-up level. I mean, this is pretty crazy. I believe this is the first time that they have flat out changed the game genre in the middle of a Mario game. Unless you count the mini games in SMB3, I guess. This is a pretty cool idea for a world level. The boss of World 2 is Dragon Zamasu. Wait, Zamasu from Dragon Ball? Anyway, yeah, he basically shoots fireballs at you and you have to shoot missiles at him to defeat him. He also makes this obnoxious sound whenever he takes damage. World 3-1. World 3-1 introduces the enemies Batabons, Toko Toko, and Ganchan. I really hope I pronounced those names right. All enemies that look like Maui heads from Easter Island culture. You know, it's kinda weird how much Mario Land takes inspiration from real life cultures and places and stuff. I guess that's another thing that makes it feel spin-offy. World 3-2. Yeah, spiders everywhere. World 3-3. This level has a lot of precision platforming in it, which is logical since we technically are already close to the end of the game at this point. Our next boss fight is Hioi, I probably pronounced that wrong, and he is an absolute joke. All you have to do is jump over him while he's throwing rocks at you and boom, he's dead. Man, Mario games just do not have the best track record with boss fights. World 4-1. This world has a really nice aesthetic. It takes place in a Chinese bamboo forest. There's these vampire zombie enemies named Pion P, which are inspired by Jiangxi from Chinese folklore. Once again, I really wonder why this game has so many real-world inspired environments and enemies, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. It definitely makes this game stand out, if anything. World 4-2. World 4-2 has these pon flower enemies that shoot poisonous powder upwards, and these snake enemies named Neololin. I have no idea how to pronounce that. In general, this level is pretty challenging with these rotating disc obstacles making it pretty difficult to maneuver around. World 4-3, the last level. The last level of Super Mario Land is a shoot 'em up level. Huh. This is definitely an interesting way to end the game. I mean, the only other level in the game like this was in World 2-3. Hey, I honestly don't mind it though. We can just add this to the list of things that make Super Mario Land interesting and unique. This is a pretty well designed and fun shoot 'em up level too. In fact, this might be the most fun I've had with the last level in a Mario game so far. At least with these retro 2D Mario games, which is kind of funny because this is not even a platformer level. In the end, we fight Tatinga, who is apparently an alien from an unknown planet. This is an interesting idea for a Mario villain, TBH. I think it would be cool if more main series Mario games had different villains besides just Bowser all the time. Apparently Tatinga has hypnosis powers, but we don't see any of that here. The Tatinga fight is nothing super crazy. He shoots a bunch of balls at Mario and Mario has to shoot a bunch of balls at him to defeat him. It can be somewhat difficult to avoid his attacks since he moves around fast while attacking, but it's not too difficult. We defeat Tatinga, save Princess Daisy, and the credits roll. That is Super Mario Land. Conclusion. I mean, yeah, there really isn't much to this game. In terms of scale, this is definitely the smallest of all the main series Mario games. There is a certain charm to this game though. For one thing, the soundtrack in Mario Land is ridiculously good. Every song in this game is a freaking bop, with the World 4 music being my personal fave track in the game. Although Mario Land is a very bite-sized game, I don't view it as a bad thing. The Game Boy was a handheld console after all, so you were meant to only play in short bursts anyways. And even then, there's a lot of variety in this game. You're constantly being introduced to new enemies, obstacles, and bosses as you go. Like, they managed to cram a lot of unique and fun things into this 20 to 30 minute adventure. So even though I don't think Super Mario Land is going to win any awards as the best Mario game or anything like that, it is still a solid little adventure that is absolutely worthy of being in this legendary franchise. The box art of this game is a huge lie though. Mario Land is absolutely not Mario's biggest adventure yet. What it should say is that Mario Land is Mario's most unique adventure yet. Now that's much more fitting. Welp, that's my Super Mario Land retrospective. Next time in my series of Mario retrospective videos, we're finally going to take a look at Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. I am very excited to do a retrospective for Mario World because this is a game that I have a lot of memories and nostalgia for. I'm excited to dive into it again and see how well it holds up after all these years, and how it stacks up to its predecessors. As always, if you watched all the way to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everyone.